Hello, Dan Richardson again at the Chapel of the North Hills. We are on day 20 of our reading plan to investigate what the Bible would have to teach us about prayer. And this is our halfway point at day 20, and we find ourselves thinking this week about instructions for prayer. Where is it in the Bible that God gives us good instructions on how to do this thing called prayer? And there is no better instruction than Jesus' template himself. The template he gave us himself, which is usually called the Lord's Prayer, but I think it's more appropriate to call it the model prayer. It's a template on how to form and develop a prayer. And this is in Matthew chapter 6, verses 9 through 13. And let's go through this together. Therefore you should pray like this: Our Father in heaven, your name be honored as holy. Your kingdom come, and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Like I said, this is often called the Lord's Prayer, and we should also think of it more appropriately in terms of the model prayer. It's a template that Jesus outlines how we can develop and present a prayer. So if you want to read a prayer that Jesus actually prayed himself, we'll get to that a little later in our plan. That is in John the 17th chapter. But these verses here in the model prayer are so rich that we can dwell on them forever, and we're never going to exhaust their beauty. But let me point out just a few items. First of all, we must begin a prayer by recognizing our relationship to God. If we don't know God as Father, then that's the first issue that must be settled. Our prayer must honor his name. Number two, we should also acknowledge God's will above our will. It's pointless and it's even destructive to ask for things that are outside of God's will, because his will is best. Our will brings disaster. The third thing is we do need to ask God. Yes, he knows our needs. He also likes to be asked. Besides, keeping us from thinking that we can do anything on our own, we know that he is the provider of everything. And the things that we ask for in this model are for daily needs and for forgiveness. Forgiveness is a constant need, and it should be a request in every single prayer that we pray. Always ask for forgiveness. Also, we must enlist God's help in order to move us to holiness. God alone can help us avoid temptation. In the chapter that precedes this one, Jesus defeated the devil. And so we ask Jesus to help us do the same. So this prayer is a good one to memorize, but not for the purpose of saying it over and over and over again. That would defeat the instructions just ahead in verse 8. Memorize this so that we can use it to form every prayer that we pray and retain our dependence and our relationship and our close fellowship with God. Be blessed.